Oh my God, I'm gonna be sweating like crazy. Holy, I'm already sweating.
Good workout for you, man.
I already worked out today.
2 workouts today. You don't have to work out tomorrow. Damn it.
I got absolutely hosed on 2 games today. I had St. John's minus 5.5 live. I got hooked because of some meaningless 3 at the end.
Hey, Dad. You know who didn't get hosed on the games today? This guy. I took Marquette 3.5, and the under went from 147 to 154.
Why are you betting against us, man? What's up with that?
Because 3.5 at their place is insanely low. Like the odds makers are saying on a neutral court we would win. I'm like, not right now. Maybe later, but not right now. Hey, welcome to the Bluejay Banter Postgame Show. We are live at Let It Fly. Packed house today to watch the Jays game. Jays go down 72-67 to Marquette. Thanks if you're here in the bar. Hope you're having a great time. You can view us then. But if you're on the YouTube channel, where most of you are, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. It helps us out a ton. Plus, use the live chat feature to send your thoughts, your comments, your questions to us. We've got a bunch already, which we'll get to. But please do that. It helps us out a lot, and we'll get to everybody's chat as the show goes along. Tim Kruger along with Ross Ferrarini. Ross, what were your initial thoughts of the game?
Well, my initial thoughts are I cannot get over the clip that's making the rounds on Twitter of Shaka basically playing help defense on the sideline against Baylor. That makes me so irrationally upset. All you need to do is type his name into the search bar on Twitter, and it'll come up. You know how he is on the sideline.
Yeah, he's going crazy.
So he's basically running. Baylor gets the ball on the wing, he basically runs down the sideline. He steps onto the court, like in the corner, basically. I mean, it was almost like he was like trapping. Like it was really kind of egregious. Yeah, he really frustrates me. Whatever. Yeah. It is what it is. So that's my first initial thought when you asked me. Yeah, disappointing loss. Just from the simple standpoint that obviously started the game great. It was there, it was available. Sure. I thought Mac's game plan early was pretty spot on. I mean, he wanted a lot of these guys to shoot, and they don't really have. You got to give credit to a guy like David Joplin who knocked in a few today.
Joplin's a really good shooter, though.
He's a little bit streaky. Cam Jones is streaky too.
But I think their plan, like when I was at practice the other day, their plan was push them off the three, make them take tough twos, because they shoot apparently one of the least percentages of twos in the country.
Yeah, they take a lot of threes.
So they wanted to push them into that two, which I thought in the first half we did a great job of. Now
I should say that, and giving guys like Stevie Mitchell or Sean Jones wanted them to shoot. Now, to their credit, Sean Jones he hit a couple. Unfortunately,
we did a great job on Cam Jones.
I thought we did a good job on Cam Jones. The story of the game. Obviously, it's no secret. It's the turnovers. I mean, and a lot of them were. It's just most of them were unforced.
So I want to ask you. Let's get right to it. What, in your opinion, as a player, what did you see on these turnovers?
Well. Listen, to be fair, like you say as a player, and I appreciate that, I was a bench guy on the Missouri Valley. These guys are significantly far and away better than I ever was as a player.
You're way smarter than you think you are, Ross.
So, listen, Marquette is very good defensively. They are.
I think that's going to be the thing that people forget, Creighton fans forget. They're really good defensively.
They're really good defensively. Having said that, I thought, especially in the first half, so many of those were unforced errors.
Yes.
And I think that's where, I'm sure if you're Mac, you're frustrated because you just gifted them some things that you shouldn't have gifted them. And, at the end of the day, I really only see, Mason Miller has been shooting, the leather off the ball. I mean, he's been really, really good for us. But other than that, you look at this team right now and, you're really confident basically in Baylor and Trey to get some things done. And it, in my opinion, it kind of looks like a lot of other guys are question marks in that capacity as far as your confidence level.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with your analysis. I thought there was just some really sloppy ones, especially in the first half. Guys are getting into the lane. They're picking up the dribble too soon. They're giving up the dribble, and then they're getting caught, and then they have nowhere to go with the ball. But some of those are just really sloppy. And by my analytics, when I looked at it at halftime, I thought we gave up 6 points there.
Yeah.
However you want to look at it, we gave up 6 points on those turnovers. So instead of a 2-point lead, we'd have had an 8-point lead. Well, that's a huge difference.
I'm trying to keep in mind, and I'm talking to other people too, and that people are, complaining and getting upset about, where the team is at this stage.
Right.
Like, listen, this team had lost 6 in a row last year. We were 6-6. Everybody thought the roof was falling. We should have been in the Final Four. We were one kind of crazy fluke play away from being in the Final Four. So it's a long season. I try not to get too up or down, as you know. I'm going to say this. The Baylor Shireman appreciation post. That kid is a stud.
That kid played.
I mean, I'm telling you, he is.
He had some bad
he had a few, but you know what?
But he shot the ball great.
I'll live with any turnover Baylor has because he is so unafraid of anybody that he plays. He plays with such a swagger about him. He's such a confident kid. His basketball IQ is through the roof. He plays hard. He's got size. He's obviously got the shooting ability. I think he's one of the better wings in the country. I really do.
Yeah, he was lights out today. I thought you mentioned Mason. First half. Man, did he bring energy. He brought so much energy. He probably didn't shoot it as well as he probably has been, but he got 6 rebounds in the first half. That was huge.
Oh, he's a great Mason is a great offensive rebounder. I mean, he really is. He obviously hit a couple late though in the game to kind of keep us in it as far as that's concerned. I waffle back and forth between thinking this is a missed opportunity, but at the same time, were you supposed to win on the road at Marquette? I don't know. Marquette's very good. They're also beatable.
That's what I said. I was telling Val, our producer, when I walked in here, I said, after I've had about 5-10 minutes to calm down a little bit, early in the week, I said to people, I go, look, we're probably going to be 0-2. Let's not go to the cliff and jump off, okay? This is a game we had circled at the beginning of the year. Everybody had it as a loss. We lost. We lost by 5 points, turning it over 17 times, okay? If you would have told me before the game, hey, you're going to turn it over 17 times, I'd have said we're going to get beat by 20.
I agree with you. I thought at the end of the day, when you watch the game from start to finish, it's a pretty close game. Obviously, we're winning at half, and I don't really think we played all that well.
No. Baylor shot it great.
Baylor shot us in the game, and Trey made some plays.
But other than that, we didn't do anything crazy.
No, I agree. At the end of the day, it's frustrating to be 0-2 in league. Obviously, we had one kind of stolen from us, on Wednesday the 20th against Villanova. I still think this team is talented enough, and we have the shooting ability that we're going to steal one somewhere. So obviously, okay, you think to yourself then, okay, so then where do we quote unquote steal one where we're probably going to be underdogs at this stage? Okay, we already got at Marquette out of the way. So that one's probably at UConn or maybe at Providence.
Yeah, those are the two. So we got to win one of those, and then you're right back to even again, right? Mm-hmm. The other thing is I think we
maybe even at Butler.
Right. This started a stretch of 5 of 7 on the road. Okay. Which is another big thing. We can get those out of the game. I was looking at this today. When you're looking at the big picture of the Big East, Providence plays their first 3 at home. That means that they go and they play their last one at home. So they go in a stretch where they play 10 of 16 on the road.
Yep.
So don't get too excited that Providence is going to be 3-0.
Yeah, things will play itself out. What did we? I thought we started maybe 1-3 the year that we won Big East regular season when COVID canceled the tournament.
I want to say I thought we were 2-0, but 0-2. I could be wrong, but yeah.
Well, I thought we the only reason I know that we weren't 0-2 is because they said in the broadcast last time we started 0-2 was the year right after Doug. Okay. So we must have won maybe our first one.
I know we started off terrible.
We started off terrible, and that team goes on a crazy run. And at the end of the year, before COVID cancels things. We're playing as good as anybody in the entire country.
Totally
so it's a really long season. I know people are upset. It's a long season.
Plus, we couldn't have a nicer next game at Georgetown. If we're going to go on the road.
Yes, I agree. Georgetown is not good.
No, they're not good at all. They're not good.
Are they probably better than last year? Yes. Now, is that saying much? No. And obviously that's not by any stretch of the imagination an intimidating place to play.
And we'll get into them later. And by the way, we want to thank our sponsors, Care Minders Home Health Care, Equitable Bank, and Godfather's Pizza. We want to thank them so much for helping us out this year and being terrific sponsors of our program. Let's get right to some chats because I know this is going to be a hot topic for the next couple of days until we play. Luckily, we're going to. You have a game like this, a tough loss, a lot of turnovers, and then you have the New Year's holiday, and all of a sudden, boom, another game comes. So you don't really get the blowback you normally would during the regular season, so to speak. Mm-hmm. But I know this is going to happen. We've already gotten some chats. By the way, if you're watching online, go to that chat feature, pop in your chat, whether a comment, question, what have you. We start off with the first one. Time to start Bello and bench Ashworth. Bello is a better defender. Time to rethink. Martin says time to rethink the point guard play. Ashworth couldn't shoot, distribute, get to the rack or defend. Other than that, he was mediocre. Mack has got to start trusting his bench. People bring up Dotzler all the time, point guard. So we know this is going to happen. It seems like every time Creighton loses, people just throw Ashworth under the bus. Look, today though, Ashworth started off pretty well. Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking, he's just not shooting the ball like he's capable. He's just not. He's just not. But I thought today he started off pretty well. Then he had some bad turnovers. Then he threw up a bad shot. He just, and then got beat on defense. Then he had another bad turnover in the second half that kind of was in their run where they took the lead. What do you think? Do you think it's time to maybe go more Bello at the point or maybe go Trey?
I feel for Steven because I think he's a much better player than what he's shown so far, and he's struggled a little bit getting acclimated. I think there are, I remember we came in here, after, we won big at Oklahoma State again, who's not a great team, and we sat down here and said, man, Steven looked really good tonight. I think he's capable of that. He's got games like that in him. It's just for whatever reason, it's taken him a little bit to get acclimated. I think maybe to the league, or to the speed that we play with, and again, he's in a different position than what he was at Utah State. They ran different things. It was just everything about it was different. I know basketball's basketball, but Farabello, I look at then, okay, maybe what's the other option? I don't know that Fran's shown that he's...
No, Fran's been wildly inconsistent, in my view.
Fran brings some fantastic things to the table. I mean, there's been games where I think Fran saved us on multiple occasions with his defense and his play, his sound decision-making. I don't think he played great today. I don't think he played great against Villanova, but... for the people about Josiah, listen, I'm high on Josiah in the long term too. It's just like it's not going to happen at this stage. We're already into January. Mac has all these veterans on the team. Josiah is a true freshman. He might end up being a very good player. He can't be thrown to the fire at this stage. He just can't. It's a non-starter.
You lead me right into the next question. Jerry had a question. He said, curious of your thoughts on Dotzler. Is he really that bad, or is Mac just stuck in his ways? Neither.
In
my opinion.
No, yeah.
I've been at tons of practices. He just, there's days he looks phenomenal, okay? There are other days where he really does get lost on defense. And the little time he got, this is a few games ago, he got put into the game. I think we had him in studio here after one of our games, and we were talking about it. He got put in the game. He turned it over. He got lost on defense. Then he turned it over again. I mean, things like that happen. I really like everything he's got. I think he's going to be very, very good. When you're a head coach that's won as many games as Mac has, you're very cognizant of not ruining a guy's confidence, because that's how you become successful. So Mac knows this. So I think that's part of it too. I don't think he wants to overreact with Steven. He's not happy with the way Steven's playing. I know he's not. Okay, I know he thought Steven would bring more to the table, especially, even if he had those turnovers. If he hits those threes, two more threes today, everybody's like, whoa.
Well, not only that, in Steven's defense, he wasn't the only guy turning the ball over.
Oh, no, but that's all that anybody remembers.
It is, I get this. This is how fan bases tend to be, and every fan base across football and basketball in the country, there tends to be some scapegoats.
Yep.
Arthur Kaluma was a scapegoat last year.
Yeah.
Okay. Steven, for whatever reason, basically through this first half of the year, has kind of been the scapegoat. It's not all on him. Like I said, a lot of other guys turned the ball over today. I thought there was, quite honestly, a lot of opportunities for Kalk probably to finish some things inside.
Yeah. He's got to be much stronger at the ball. And not only that, a couple people over on BluejayBanter.com on our chat, on our message board, said this too. Steven made probably one of the best passes of the season. Down low to Kalk, that bounce pass.
Yeah.
Got him wide open, made the play in the lane.
Oh, the one that Kalk fumbled out of bounds.
Fumbled out of bounds.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to finish that. You got to finish that. That's all there is to it. And people are always even though we're, like you said, we're into January, people are still bringing up R2. Okay, Ryan Nembhard. Look, people, I would say this.
I watched most of the San Diego State game last night. Ryan Nembhard did not play very well.
Is Ryan Nembhard making Gonzaga better? Because if you go to Gonzaga fans base, they're saying no. They're saying, what the hell? We thought we were getting a lot better here, just like people are saying about Steven. Same deal. And so let's not pretend Ryan Nembhard was all world defensively like some people are pretending, or all-world offensively, because he was a maybe a 30% three-point shooter. And again, last night he didn't shoot well from three.
Right.
In their loss. So, look, everybody just needs to take a breath here. We're 0-2. Probably should have won the Villanova game. But, again, Villanova's scheduled to be one of the top 4 teams in the league, so it's not like it's a horrible loss. Lost in overtime, didn't play that well. We played this team to 5 points with 17 turnovers. Probably should have won.
This is totally unrelated. I'm kind of curious because I haven't reconvened with you since the Villanova game. I'm just kind of curious what they feed their players at Villanova, because every single year they have the biggest, strongest team. Like every single dude, it seems like every year on their team has like no body fat. It's the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen. Anyways, yeah. It's just an aside, but.
Hey, by the way, we were going to get to Unsung Hero, and that's sponsored by Care Minders Home Health Care. When you're in need of care for your injured, ill, or senior loved one, reach out to Care Minders Home Care. Their agency is comprised of certified caregivers who have many years of experience. You'll receive versatile, flexible, and customized care, and it'll just totally ease your mind, and it'll be better for yourself as well. I know what some of you are saying. Hey, we don't need that care right now, but at some point you might. So go to their website, caremindersnebraska.com, and check out all they have to offer, so when the time comes, you're ready to make that decision. You can also call them at 402-532-1383. That's 402-532-1383. Care Minders Home Care, our title sponsor. Unsung Hero, pretty easy today, I think, Mason.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Very easy.
Isaac did not have he's been having really solid games lately. He did not have a solid game today.
God, he had that one three from the corner that went in and out in the first half.
He didn't get much run today either.
No, he didn't get a ton of run, but
I think this isn't probably a team with the way Marquette's built. Probably doesn't suit Isaac as well. Would you agree?
Yeah, plus if Mason's playing really well, which he did today, there's just not going to be a ton of minutes for Isaac. Fran's going to play 25 plus minutes a game. Obviously you want Kalk in there. There's just not going to be there's just not enough rotation minutes. You're going to play Baylor and Trey basically the entire game. You know?
If I was going to say 3 things right now for this team. 1, everybody, not just Steven, everybody needs to take care of the ball better. Let's stop with the cross-court lazy passes, okay? Let's stop with the dribbling into the lane, then stopping, and then just immediately trying to dish it, make a super pass.
Which, for the most part, we had for the whole year. The past couple of games, for whatever reason, we've seen an uptick in kind of sloppy turnovers.
Yeah. So take care of the basketball. 2, Kalk just has to be stronger with the ball overall. Rebounding, going up to the hoop, collecting passes. And then 3, Steven's just got to start playing better. He's got to start shooting the ball better. And he's got to start taking care of the basketball better. And getting in that lane, I'd like to see him pull up in that lane and hit a little 8-10-foot jump shot, because he's capable of hitting that shot.
I agree.
And that shot has been open from time to time. And I guess if I want to throw one more in, Trey just has to not try and do everything. You know what? I think sometimes he's trying to do too much, because he feels like when it gets a close game or we're down a couple points, I've got to make the play. There's other guys.
I think even there's a little bit of that with Baylor, even though I love both of these guys. I mean, they're unbelievable players, but I think, there was the one, and Baylor was hot, but when Baylor's hot, he tends to have a couple of heat check threes where you're like, Baylor, I don't know about that one.
Today though, geez, crazy.
No, he powered us the first half. When Baylor gets it going, he's awful hard to stop.
Yep. And then we have Worst Call of the Game today. It's sponsored by Godfather's Pizza Pie Piled High. Go online at godfathers.com or stop by the nearest location here in Omaha. They have feasts to feed your whole family, abundantly top pizzas with fresh mozzarella and all the quality toppings you enjoy. They've got wings, cheese sticks, dessert, and more. There's something for everything in your family. So check them out today. Go to godfathers.com. We got tons of football hoops over the next few days here, next couple of days. Great time to order up a pizza, even for New Year's Eve. So go to godfathers.com and they will do it. What did you think of that last charge, that offensive foul that Trey got?
Oh, the one at the end. Yeah. I didn't really like that one. The other one that stood out, but then I saw the replay, and I was like, was the offensive goaltending that they thought was offensive goaltending in the first half. But I saw the replay, and I was like, maybe that wasn't.
I see that called more than not.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
Worst call of the game. Worst call of the game was letting Shaka basically become a sixth man for his team.
Check this out.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. I understand that's his MO, and I sound just like a bitter fan, like after a loss. But come on, like you can't. It's just ridiculous. His antics on the sideline last year when they beat us to basically win the Big East last year were obnoxious as well. Just, it is what it is.
Yeah, and here's my problem with the Trey call is I thought we said that the defender had to be totally set and 2 feet down and so forth. And what Trey did, I thought maybe at first, he maybe shoved off, but he didn't. He just put his shoulder down. Did he go into there? Yeah, but you've been letting that go the whole game. I mean, there was really, I thought they let him play today.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I thought they did too.
You know, I don't know. And that was would that have made a difference in the game? Probably not, but it was kind of a key point in the game where we score there. You know, I think we cut it to one possession game at that point.
Yep.
But anyway, that's sponsored by Godfather's Pizza. All right, we got tons more comments, so let's get so here you go, Ross. Casey had a comment. Thoughts on Shaka literally being on the court, playing defense.
Tim needs to see the video first.
He said, clown.
Well, here was the funny thing about it. So, whoever originally tweeted it, I don't even know. I was kind of going through replies and kind of quote replies, and there were a lot of other fan bases, KU and UConn's being predominantly featured, that were in total agreement of like, I cannot believe this guy gets away with this stuff.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. So, what's got to happen there is Mac has to go to the Big East and say,
well, Mac might not have seen it. I mean, it's,
no, but they'll see it in the film.
Sure.
They need to go to him and say, hey, look. By the way, think of this. Very strange. So, Jalen Courtney Williams, assistant coach at Creighton, we've had him on our show several times. His wife's down here, so we're talking to him because I hadn't seen their little one. Mm-hmm. Cutest thing in the world. She's down here, and she said they're flying back today.
Yeah.
Okay. Then they're turning around and leaving again tomorrow.
Oh, interesting. To go to Georgetown. Huh.
I thought for sure, being schools out, that they would just go
to straight
DC,
to
maybe stay the night in Milwaukee, go tomorrow.
Yeah,
and then
that's interesting.
Practice in Milwaukee, go tomorrow, then practice there on Monday, and then the game Tuesday. But they're coming home, so kind of a weird.
Maybe it's such a quick flight from Milwaukee, technically, that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
it's kind of a weird deal though. Usually they'll, on these, when school's out of session, they'll do these road trips. They'll just go to the next spot. That's I just want to bring that up. Couple people both commented, Rob and Martin. Calk has to start doing something. He's not aggressive. He's playing like he's 6'6". He's getting outplayed by the opposing big man. I would agree with that. He's got to be a little more aggressive. He's got to bring it. Like, even there's no way Kolek should go in there and be able to get a shot off it against him, okay? Like, he's got to be. I know that one time Kolek took it down the baseline and then flipped it up backdoor and made it. And Mac was furious at Kalkbrenner. I mean,
oh, was he? I missed that.
He jumped off the bench and was yelling at him like, you got to reject that thing. You can't let him do that. And here's an interesting one, though. Jonah says, R2 knew how to feed Kalk. I just thought last year, okay, we had, especially early, we had a lot of opportunities for the lob on the pick and roll. Okay, teams have taken that.
Well, I'm also gonna tell you a major difference on that. We were talking about R2 a little bit earlier. R2 was very athletic. R2 could finish at the rim a little bit. There's not that much. There's not that same sort of threat coming off a ball screen with our guys, except for maybe Trey. You know what I mean? Baylor's obviously got a little bit of more of an unorthodox game. Stevens obviously a predominantly three-point shooter. So I think there's maybe a little bit more pressure for guys to, stay with and maybe opened up things maybe a little bit more for drop downs and things of that nature. But yeah, no, you made a good point. I mean, Steven made a great play earlier and, Call kind of bobbles it out of bounds.
But don't you think teams are kind of taking that lob away from us, even if we have
the
ability?
Well, Marquette,
even when Trey gets around that screen,
Marquette
it goes downhill.
Good teams are decent at it. Marquette, I thought was very, very good at that. Iguodala's really, really, really good, and their whole defense. They basically they're kind of trying to bait you into making that skip pass. They're basically saying, if you're what they call it is tagging the roll man. So if Kalk is the ball screener and he's rolling to the rim, they're going to have a weak side defender, trying to come in and help as much as he can. They call that in basketball parlance tagging the roll man. Okay, so they're basically betting that well the pass is then to skip it, and if we're really active defensively, it's really hard for you to skip it and make a clean pass, and which is pretty smart if you got the personnel to do it. Marquette does.
See, I would think Iguodala may have trouble with Dixon because of Dixon's size.
Yeah,
like that's the player Iguodala's going to have problems with. He's okay because he's so active and he's not a huge guy,
right?
But he's very long and active. He may have problems with a guy like Dixon, for instance, or maybe even Klingman, But okay, let's go on. Am I crazy, or does it seem Trey? This is from Rob. It seems like Trey is having trouble getting to the rim this year compared to the first 2 years. Seems way tougher this year. Doesn't look as explosive as he has. What would you say to that?
Wait, say that. The first part again.
He just said.
About Trey?
It seems like Trey is having trouble getting to the rim this year compared to other years.
I think
he's getting to the rim. I think when he gets to the rim, it's more contested.
Well, I think, kind of to your point, I think a lot of guards are being more physical with him. And, Trey is, for how talented he is, he's still, he's not filled out physically like I said earlier. I mentioned like Villanova's wings are. He doesn't look like that. So he can get, if he plays some physical wings, sometimes he will get bumped off his spots a little bit. A lot of times, depending on how refs call the game, they're just not going to call some of that. Like you saw tonight, they didn't call those types of things. Sometimes you'll get a ref crew that's a little bit trigger happy, and they'll call some of those fouls, those little bumps. So. The athleticism is not a question. I mean, Trey's shown plenty of times how athletic he is.
Jerry has a question. He goes, he said, good comment on lazy and fatigue, Timmy. Should we continue to run them through the grinder or limit minutes and get some other guys in there? If so, who gets the minutes and how much? I would say this.
You're trying to win games.
The first player I would say, again, Fred's got to give us a little more. I thought he gave us a little more today than he did the last game.
Yeah.
But he's got to give us a little more to give Kalk a better blow.
Yeah, because you've seen multiple times with Fred, like there have been quote unquote Fred games where you're like, man, Fred looked great tonight, and everyone's he gets a standing O and he gets subbed out because everyone's like, man, Fred is really bringing it today. And there's other games, to your point, where he comes in and there's not much there for the few minutes that he does give. So I think the potential's definitely there with Fred. But at the end of the day, like we're now in the Big East schedule. We only have 18 Big East games left. Like these guys have to go through the grind. It just is what it is.
Yeah, and
like
I think first of all, too, you have to look at this. Two teams they played got Dixon and Iguodala. Pretty good players down there. Okay?
Yeah.
So any second team center is going to struggle with those guys. Okay?
Right.
So that's true now. Maybe he gets his groove on here over the next couple games. As far as the other positions, I mean, we're playing Fran a fair amount.
Fran plays a lot.
I mean, the only two guys that are playing a lot, because we have that alternating position at the 4. So the only two guys I would worry about would be Baylor and Trey. Neither one of them appeared to me to be getting.
I couldn't care. They will tell you they could not. Yeah. They want to play 38 minutes. Yeah. That's not a concern of mine whatsoever.
So I think we're okay that way. I think the other thing that, again, we get to do. Sure, I would like to, like this Georgetown game, if we get a 10, 12-point lead, I would like to sprinkle Dotzler in with the starting crew a little bit. See what happens.
Yeah,
give
maybe.
Him a chance to grow a little bit. Yeah. Let's get to, we've covered all the points here, but let's get to opponent preview. That is covered and sponsored by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally, which can bring me to a point because our good friend Doug Nodgaard is president of Equitable Bank, huge Jays fan. Equitable Bank is the bank of Bluejay Banter. They are fantastic. 2 great locations, one just south of the Schwab headquarters and one over on Pierce Street location in Elkhorn. They take the headache of banking away. So check them out today. If you're looking for a new bank, you want great customer service, that's what they have. They are just fabulous when you walk in one of their branches. They're fabulous when you call. They do answer the phone on the first ring. So check them all out. That's Equitable Bank, equitablebank.com. Make them your bank today. I was going to mention because Doug always screams, every time I talk to him, we talk about Marquette, he says this, and I'm sure today he was screaming at his TV set. Kolek goes left, take away left. I want to say this about that. Kolek is really hard, even though you know he's going left, he's hard to take that away because he finds a way to get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He does. And yes, you do want to go right because then he's so predominantly left-handed that it does make him a little less likely offensively. I thought when we had him on the left wing in the first half, it was easy for him to go left. In the second half, he was more on the right wing. That made it a little less, more difficult, I should say, because he couldn't go baseline. He had to go into the middle, and that's where the traffic was. So, yeah, that is true. Opponent preview, so we're going to Georgetown. We talked to them. We talked about them earlier. That game will be 6 p.m. on CBS Sportsnet, Channel 221, DirecTV. I don't know where it is everywhere else. They're 7-6. They beat no one of note except they won an overtime game over Notre Dame, who today, a game that slipped past me under the radar, just pummeled Virginia.
Oh, I watched. I watched. Trust me.
I couldn't believe. That sounds like a guy who maybe had the wrong side there.
Correct. There was at one point this, the kid for a guy, what's his name, JJ something for Notre Dame. He was 6-6 from the field in the first half. I think he had 5 threes and a 2. He had outscored. First 12 minutes of the game, something like that. He had outscored Virginia by himself. Virginia is the type of team that is, as evidenced by being the first ever 1 seed to lose to a 16. The way that their style of play, if they get down, it's really hard for them to come back. And they got down early, and they just got smoked at Notre Dame, which was an absolute shocker. Listen, Georgetown basically should have beat TCU. TCU was essentially gifted that game. The kid stepped out of bounds when he hit the 3 at the buzzer.
Yep.
But they're not very good. We're going to call a spade here. They hung in there a little bit at Butler. The Jaden Epps kid is a talented player. I don't think he plays a great brand of basketball. He's kind of a one-on-one guy, but he's a shot maker. The kid that's pretty good for them is the true freshman, the point guard. I think his name is Rowan Brumbaugh, I think is his name. Yeah. He's actually a pretty good player.
Is that the dude that reminds me of McClung? Kind of reminds me
of what kind of looks like him. He's kind of got same kind of blonde hair.
Not nearly as athletic.
Yeah, not as athletic. Listen, they're better than last year. They have a little bit more talent. They're still not
some
great.
Games and then other games like when they played Villanova.
They cannot. This is.
Not Villanova.
And again, you guys might think I'm crazy, but I watch a lot of college basketball games. I watch some games that you would think I'm an insane person for watching. Our friend, former Creighton assistant for a couple of years, Patrick Sellers, is the head coach at Central Connecticut. I tuned in for a half about 3 weeks ago. They played Holy Cross. I thought Holy Cross was the worst Division I team I had seen in a long time, and somehow, some way, beat Georgetown. Yeah. So, I don't know. You never really know, I guess, what you're going to get with this team.
When I've watched them, like today, for instance, in the second half, Marquette went on about a 5-6 possession run where they made shots. You just don't see that with Georgetown.
No, it's not going to happen.
Couple. You're not going to get that center run. But at any rate, it's still, I don't know. I don't know if it's best. I'm just shocked that they're not going to D.C. right away because usually that's what they do when there's no schools. They'll go there. They'll maybe stay in Milwaukee today, practice tomorrow, then go to D.C., then practice Sunday
Yeah.
or Monday, and then play Tuesday. But for whatever reason, they're coming home. So I don't think they're going to get a lot of practice. I know they're leaving again fairly quickly tomorrow. So fairly early in the day. I think they want to get there, have the guys enjoy New Year's Eve. And usually when they go to D.C., they take some sort of tour, the Capitol or around the federal buildings and so forth.
Yeah.
And just for the kids. Here's another question in chat. Is it me or does it seem Trey is way off? We don't have anyone to drive to the basket and finish from all these guys. Trey's the guy. I don't know.
I thought Trey did some of that tonight.
He did okay tonight. He was better tonight.
Yeah.
He's had a couple games where he hasn't shot well. Like I said, when I think he's doing too much, like today with that spin turnaround, that's in that 10, 12-foot range. He did one today from about 16, 18. That's just not his shot. He's in that 10 to 15-foot range. He's very deadly there.
Yep.
And so that's a perfect example of him doing too much. Again, I think he's getting to the hole. I think when he gets to the hole, like you said, there's a lot of people being physical with him. And when he gets to the rim, maybe that's a part too. We've got a couple defenders coming over. That's where a guy or two needs, rather than standing in three-point line, a guy or two needs to cut. And then now we get an easy layup,
Yep.
Because a lot of teams have done that to us. But that was a good question by Terry. Okay, so again, we said on Wednesday, we'll be right back here after the game. So check us out on YouTube or come down here to Let It Fly. They'll have another watch party. I'll be here. It was packed in here today with
Yeah, it
fans.
is crowded.
It was fun. And before the game, they play the music and do the Let's Go Jays chant. It's kind of cool. But that game, 6 p.m., CBS Sportsnet on Wednesday. So, hey, get down here right away. And hopefully we'll get our first conference win. And then we roll in a week from today. We have Providence coming to town. Providence has looked very good so far. But
They have looked good.
I believe that will be their first road game.
Yeah, it'll be a charged up environment, I would imagine. That's a Saturday game.
Yeah.
Good team.
1 o'clock tip, I believe. Yep.
Yeah, Providence is good though. I got to give them a lot of credit. I thought a lot of media people, thought the Kim English hire was like, oh, he's still pretty unproven. He's young. I don't know. It's turned out to be pretty good. I mean, obviously he's got a talented roster, but I don't know. When I watch them play, I've watched them a few times. I think to myself, gosh, they run some good things. They look
Devin
pretty.
Carter's so good.
Devin Carter's really good. He brought over a couple of guys from George Mason, Odoro, and Gaines that have been really, really good for them. And then Bryce Hopkins obviously is a stud too. So
Ticket Gaines.
Ticket Gaines,
is best name in basketball right there.
Yeah, so they're a good team.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting if they win this game this week here, midweek. Then they'll be 3-0 and coming into our place. So there'll be a little juice in that game.
Absolutely.
Plus their first road game. So it'll be a great chance if we can win this game on Wednesday. Be a great chance for us to go 2-0 or 2-0 in that little stretch. And get
right back to 500. Yep.
And again, it's way early. Like Ross said, we were 1-3 when we won the league that one year. So, and frankly, we had to overcome a really good Villanova team that year, and a really good Seton Hall team that year, and a really good Xavier team that year. So, hey, everything's possible. I think. By the way, I would just want to throw this. It just popped into my head. One where we could steal back might be the road game at Villanova.
Certainly.
That might be one.
That'd be another one we could steal. Yeah, absolutely.
But when you think about it again, I just want to emphasize this. Beginning of the season, you probably had an L by this one. Plus, you got to remember, Marquette was 1-1 coming to this game. They could ill afford to lose this home game.
Yep.
And then go to 1-2 having lost a home game. You know, it's different when you're 0-2 and you lost an overtime game to a team, and then this was a big game for Marquette too. So at any rate, all right. Want to thank everybody. Want to thank our sponsors, Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Care Minders Home Health Care, and also Godfather's Pizza. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for watching on YouTube. If you're still there, make sure you hit the subscribe and like button. It helps us out so much. And we'll be right back here Wednesday night about 8:15, right after the Creighton Georgetown game. So see us then. Happy New Year, everybody.